Hi, I'm Doug Boles, president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thank you for listening to Behind the Bricks. We're excited to bring you this exclusive and entertaining content about the world's greatest racetrack. Keep listening, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hey, Indianapolis Motor Speedway fans, Doug Boles here with you for another episode of Behind the Bricks. You know, it is about history and tradition here at the Speedway, all kinds of them. And one of them, I think you probably know, is when you come in on race morning and you sit down in your seats, pit lane has the driver's names, their car name, and their car number right there where they're going to pit during the race. Did you ever wonder how that happened, how long that tradition's been going, and how we do it today? Well, on this episode, you're going to see.
So putting the names on pit wall is something that actually dates back to 1911. As we look through the archives and the photos, you can see that that began. And what you saw on the wall was the number and the manufacturer of the car. You didn't see the name in the early days. And those were the pit stalls where those cars were assigned the entire month of May. As you get into the 19-teens, you actually get to see that sometimes we put a flag on there representing the manufacturer of the car, where those cars were from. But it was really 1927 when they began to start putting drivers' last names associated with the numbers along pit wall. Sometime around 1930, they began to drift away from manufacturers, and it was really just focused on the car, the driver's name, and the entrance name. In 1937, they added the full name above the numbers. And then in these photos from 1945, as the Speedway had been dormant for a few years because of World War II, you can still see the stencil that was left in the wall from the last race held before the Indianapolis 500 closed down for World War II. After World War II, Tony Hallman bought the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the first 500 after World War II was 1946. And that's really when you see the driver's name become the prominent name on the wall. You saw the car and the entrant name on the left, the number was right there in the middle, and then the driver's name on the right. And then in 1948, they changed it and put the driver's name on the left, the number in the middle, and the car and entrant on the right. And it really remained that way, except for some minor font changes, until the mid-1970s, when they moved the number to the end. In 1980, they changed it back to the way that it was pre-mid-1970s change. And this was the format and the style that remained there ever since. You know, when you look at these, it's amazing. You think about the painting. It was hand-painted, hand-stenciled, really until after the 2009 race. And starting in 2010, and the way we do it today, we print big decals, and those decals get put on the wall. And that's what we did this year as we led into the 2023 Indianapolis 500.
So we're now inside behind turn 3, and this is where the magic happens. Those names that you see on the wall, they start right here on this vinyl machine. I'm with Kyle Knight, who's our graphics production lead here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We trust him to do thousands of signs that you see around the Speedway, but maybe the most fun job you have is getting to print these wall signs.
Of course. It's a really cool collaborative effort too, because we pull in folks from facilities, folks from our marketing team, social team. They'll usually come out and try and capture a little bit here and there. So it's really fun to get a group of people out there to really pull this thing off and make sure it turns out exactly how we're looking for.
And then the font size is the same for everybody, so they're limited in the characters or what they can put in there. Yeah. So everything looks consistent across.
Yes, I think they're capped at, we've got 40-foot pit boxes, so we got to make sure that that character limit doesn't exceed that. Otherwise, names start getting squished and it doesn't look quite as appealing.
Well, one of the beautiful things is actually seeing them look alike all through the pit box. So if you have a short driver name, you got more room for other stuff.
Of course, yeah.
So you're printing two right now. We're printing Ryan Hunter Ray and Graham Rahal. Yes. So normally they come out together. This process for these names, for these two names, how long will this take?
This will take about an hour and 45 minutes. Like I said, we're capped at 40 feet. 40 feet of print takes a little bit of time.
So there you go. This is where it begins, where the names come out, and pretty soon we're going to take you and show you where the names end up. So when you walk in here on race day, you know where those names came from along pit wall. Now that we know the history of the pit sign wall, where it started, how it's been here, and that since 2010, it's been a decal on the wall instead of hand-painted, behind me, this group is going to go put it on for this year's Indianapolis 500. These guys behind me and gals behind me, they do a lot of different things here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but this morning, everybody's on the sign team. So there you have it, race fans, the story behind another tradition at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and how we're doing our best to continue something that started in 1911. All these signs for this year's 107th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Cambridge, 38 minutes. It took them 38 minutes to have all 33 drivers ready for you when you showed up here on race day. Thank you, fans, for listening to this episode of Behind the Bricks. We look forward to bringing you more exciting content about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway soon.